We fostered over 100 children in our home, so we've had so many different stories in our home.
We learned about you when our Amish neighbors got their first or their second placement. They're a wonderful, family that are fostering, and my wife gets a call from, the neighbor. And she said, "Hey, we just have these kids. Will you take me to Kidron?" And Lisa said, "Done, let's go." And they drive up there. I think it was at 11 or 12 o'clock at night.
Yes.
You met them there.
I did.
And Lisa looks around and she told me, she said, "Totally amazing."
Thank you.
My new friend Julie is the founder of something called Hope's Foster Closet in Kidron, Ohio. And we sat down to talk about foster care, adoption, the state of the system here in Ohio, and its far-reaching impacts to the foster system across the country. And it was a gut-wrenching, at times, really a heartfelt conversation. Please meet my friend Julie Kerby. From now until Christmas, Homestead Living has a wonderful gift guide online. You can find it at homesteadliving.com. You'll find the link in the notes below. We have a handful of great companies, great products. One of our partners is a company called Rustic Strength. They are focused on zero carcinogens in the laundry detergents and the cleaning supplies. My own wife was looking at them just recently because she learned that they are as pure as it gets. Right now, you can use the code Homestead25 and they will knock a quarter off of your order, 25%.
So hold my hand, think of me sweetly with a graveyard flower.
Tell us where you live. I'm sorry.
I live in Kidron, Ohio.
Okay. Were you raised there?
I was actually raised in the house next door to me.
No.
Yes.
The 1832 house?
Well, no, the 1832 house, Hope's house, is across the road in the historical village.
Okay. But you live on,
on Hackett Road.
That's Hackett Road. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right by the school. Okay.
Yeah.
So you grew up there. Did you go to Central Christian?
I did.
You did?
I did.
Tons of siblings? No siblings?
3.
3 siblings.
Yes.
Are you the firstborn?
No, I am the third. I have a brother and then an older sister and a younger sister.
Okay. So what was your childhood like in Kidron?
Well, I mean, for me, it was an average childhood growing up. We lived on a small hobby farm, so we had cats and dogs and cows and a pony and a goat at one point and just playing outside. And the typical, I would say, around here growing up.
So did you go to college after
I did not go to college after high school. No.
By the way, I'm sorry to cut you off. There's no judgment in that question because I didn't go either.
Well, and I don't think college is for everybody.
Amen.
And I even tell, with fostering for so long and having so many foster children and stuff, that isn't something that is for everyone. I believe in trade schools are good or, follow what you're doing and do it well.
So before we get into the fostering,
yes,
which we're getting there,
okay.
How long have you been married?
20-some years.
Okay.
20-some years.
That's a great answer.
I would have to, I don't know. It'll be actually 30 years in 28.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your husband's name?
His name's David, but he goes by Dave.
Okay.
He actually really goes by Kerby. It depends if he grew up in Navarre. So in Navarre, he's known as Dave, and in Kidron, he's known Kerby.
Because there's 200 Daves in
Yes.
Kidron, Ohio.
Yes.
With Yoder and Miller and
Yes.
Nussbaum and everything else. So how did you and Dave meet?
He worked at the time. There used to be a gas station in Kidron, and he worked at the gas station.
Right on the main square?
Yeah.
By Lehman's right there?
Yeah. Yeah. And we met that way.
How old were you when you met?
16 or 17.
And see,
I was a junior in high school, and I actually asked him out on a date. I had gone to Central, and we were having a junior senior banquet, and I just asked him to go. I said, I just need somebody to go. I'm not looking for...
just as friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it became more than friends.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
40 plus years later.
So Dave grew up in Navarre.
Yes.
How many bio kids do you guys have?
We don't have any bio children.
You don't have any bio kids?
No. No. I knew early on I may not be able to have kids.
Really?
And so a friend of mine, I babysat for her children that were foster children. And that really turned my eye towards fostering. And as I call him Kerby sometimes too, when I refer to him, to call him Dave, I think I'm talking about somebody else. But he was involved with the girls then too. And sometimes we'd take him to the zoo or, do different things with him. But that really turned us on to fostering.
Wait, I get confused easy.
That's okay.
So your mom and dad were fostering?
No,
No.
I was babysitting.
I missed that part.
That's okay. My
I'm sorry.
voice, it's easy to misunderstand. I was babysitting for friends of ours that were fostering.
Okay.
And so that's what turned us on to
So
fostering.
Kerby got to see into the foster world through the family that you were babysitting for.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how we got involved.
Can
or
I-
know how we could
Sure.
get involved?
Sure. Is it okay to ask how you knew that you were potentially not going to have children?
Oh, early on, like when I believe I was in 7th grade, my appendix had ruptured, and they had ruptured a week before.
Whoa.
Yeah, I ran a very low grade fever, and my mom had taken me into the hospital or to the doctor.
A week before?
Yeah, and they just said she just has maybe a stomach ache, so take her home. But if she runs any type of a fever, bring her into the ER. And that was, I don't remember, it was so long ago. But I had run a very low grade fever, so they took me in and they took x-rays and nothing showed up on the x-rays. And they thought, well, we'll take a healthy appendix out. And as they went into it, they thought it would be a half-hour procedure, and it was like 3.5 hours.
Julie,
Yeah.
it had burst.
Yeah, it had ruptured like a week before.
How are you still here?
By God. The grace of God. Yeah.
That is, did you, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Lisa and I were just talking. Our oldest son's appendix almost burst when he was
Yeah.
a little guy, and he had incredible pain.
Yeah, I did not.
You did not.
No, I have a very high pain tolerance. I found out.
You must.
Yeah. Yeah.
You must.
So I've had to learn to kind of pace myself sometimes that if I'm feeling pain, I must be in pain.
Wow. Okay. Well, I don't know if I should be impressed or sad for you or something. I don't know.
I don't know either.
So your appendix bursts.
Yeah.
You survive.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
I did have 2 softball size abscesses, but they thought one was my uterus, which it ended up not being my uterus, but that was always a potential from then on.
Yeah. That in that process it damaged a lot.
Yeah.
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 Well, I am sorry. My goodness. Thanks for sharing. That brings some context. So you get married.
We get married.
And did you begin the fostering right away, or did you wait a while?
I would say as we were trying to see if a biological child would be possible, we also started the foster care process. And I had gotten pregnant once and then had a miscarriage. And from then on, the procedures to continue, we didn't feel that God was leading us down that road and that adoption was the way to go. And fostering, we looked into private adoption, but we did not feel led to adopt privately. And so we kind of just went to a couple different meetings about foster care and ended up going to Stark County Foster Care, or Stark County, the agency, and we signed up with Stark County and fostered just over 18 years with them.
18 years.
Yeah.
Well, let me jump up to 50, 70,000 feet, okay?
Yeah.
Lisa and I have adopted all four of our kids. We had a miscarriage or two that we're aware of, so we can identify on a few things. This is the whole point. We have massive respect for foster families who do it out of a good and right motive. And that's not to impugn all foster families, but that's not what I mean at all. I love foster families more than you can imagine.
I do too.
Because I know a little bit of how hard it is. A little of how hard it is. And I'd love to talk about that at some point down the road here. But it's families like you that if I was wearing a hat, I would have it in my hand.
Well, thank you.
Because it is not easy.
No. It is not a calling for everyone. We've when you first start out, you think, oh, anybody could do this. And the longer you're in it, it is a calling from God. Yeah. Not all of us can foster, but we can all support our foster parents.
Amen. We can all do something.
Yes.
I used to should people. You should consider adopting. You should consider fostering.
Yeah.
I don't say that anymore.
I don't either.
Okay, that is a perfect segue. Julie, I can't wait to ask you and learn more about this. Okay. So you and Kerby have fostered for 18 years.
Yes.
How many kids have you adopted?
A sibling group of 5.
A sibling group of 5. Okay, we're going to park there for a second, if I may.
Yes.
How old were they when they came?
So our oldest 2 were 15 months and 4 months, a girl and a boy.
15 months and
4 months.
4 months. So birth mom has the 2 kids, does something, has them taken away, and Stark County comes to you.
Yes.
Were these your first placements?
No.
No. Okay. What?
No.
Who? Let's talk about your first couple placements.
Oh, those, what? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I am really interested to know what did you and Kerby walk into this thinking it was going to be like? And then what did you find that it was actually like?
We thought we would walk into it. I grew up babysitting many cousins and other children. So, you go into it thinking, okay, I've been around a lot of children and whatnot, and you take the training classes, which can horrify you, if I'm honest. They do teach you worst case scenario, and I believe what we were trained with 20 some years ago, it's so much more difficult nowadays.
Why? Why?
Foster care was never meant to sustain what it's sustaining today. It was meant to, if I have my story correct, it was meant more in the Depression era when there was help needed with children. That's when the foster care system born.
Hold on. I have a friend who grew up as a poor Amish kid. Mm-hmm. And he was actually put out. The air quotes were for the put out.
Yeah.
Where they would literally say, John and Mary, we cannot support John Jr. Would you take him for a while, right?
Right.
And he would go live with John and Mary.
Right.
Are you saying that's effectively the roots?
What I was told, it was meant more in that era, and it never left, is what I was told. And it just is getting worse. Like, it's so generational now that even it's hard to find I believe our children were third generation foster children. So it's hard to find, like, if these children are being brought into care, to find a grandparent, a great grandparent, an uncle, a cousin, someone who hasn't been in the foster care system for generations.
So the reality that the Depression era started something, which I might add, even a less than desirable foster care system is better than the alternative of an orphanage.
Right.
Right?
Right.
An orphanage is never a great idea.
No. An orphanage takes a lot of work. You know, they're actually coming out with studies now that babies are born with reattachment disorders. You know, if you're not bonding, there's a reason you bond and you rub your stomach when you're pregnant and people are excited, and it's all those great endorphins and the neurons and the neuron receptors and whatnot. And if a child's being neglected in the womb or being abused, or there's drugs or alcohol, that all affects the development, obviously, of that child's brain, but even that neglect, that disconnect with the mother. So, you know, our children can be born already with
RADs.
Yes.
What is going to happen when we have a wave of surrogacy babies that are not, it isn't even that a birth mom, and I feel completely unqualified even to talk about this because I don't know anything about anything.
Yeah, well, and I don't either. But these are things I've learned.
I cannot fathom what happens to a baby in utero. You're saying a birth mom who is carrying his or her own child, his or her, a baby who is a his or her, not the mom.
Yeah.
Carrying that baby, if the mom is, are you saying that a second or third generation foster child who becomes pregnant and are they mentally, are they in a place where they're thinking, I'll just give this kid up? So they don't bond?
I don't think necessarily all parents are like that. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. There are some that don't maybe know they're even pregnant. You know, they weren't even looking to get pregnant. You know, maybe their pregnancy wasn't a planned pregnancy. You know, if they're in a domestic violence situation and they don't even know that they're pregnant, or maybe they are pregnant and, you know, they don't want the child, or, you know, they're not loving on that child. One thing in the foster parent world, too, is that you have to understand is something I learned is that just because the child is in care doesn't mean the parents didn't want them. But they, you know, if you're going second and third generation, they may not know how to care for that child because they've never seen it or had been in that situation.
There was no modeling of any sort.
Right.
And they're stuck.
Each case in foster care is completely different. There can be similarities, but it's completely different. So I don't want people to hear this and think that all bio parents are bad parents or all bio parents didn't want their children. That's not what I'm saying. It's just each case is different. But we fostered over 100 children in our home. So we've had so many different stories in our home.
Yeah. Well, please forgive me. I'm not very good at this.
Yeah. No, that's okay. And I just don't want somebody to get
no, I completely understand
my
that.
Statements the wrong way.
I am really good at assuming far too many things and painting things with far too broad of a brush.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. And I don't.
No,
I don't
it's
mean
okay.
to.
I just don't want anybody listening thinking all parents are like this, or a bio parent who had their children taken away, you know, have that labeled on them when that may not have been their story.
Right. With our oldest, we've dealt with a lot of attachment issues. And so I I feel that pain because
Yes.
we've lived it, and I
Yes.
know what that's like. And so when you said the thing about the thing with a baby in utero will know, they know if mom is excited, and
Or
they're gonna
loved.
know.
Yeah.
They're gonna know.
Yeah.
And so they come out swinging and they're striking out already, and it's like, doggone it.
Yeah.
You know?
It gives us all, it's not meant to paint our bio parents in a bad light or our children
Right.
with disabilities in a bad light. It's to be made aware that our children just may have other struggles that we all need to just wrap around and support them a little bit more.
Yeah.
Is it always easy? No, sir.
No, it's not. So, sibling group of 5.
Sibling group of 5.
So I don't think you quite answered my question about what
I'm
you.
sorry.
No. It was me that took you off. I'm sure. You and Kerby go into this with some expectations.
Yes.
How did reality align with those
With that.
expectations?
It hit us hard in different places.
From now until Christmas, Homestead Living has a wonderful gift guide online. You can find it at homesteadliving.com. You'll find the link in the notes below. We have a handful of great companies, great products. One of those is a company called Brunt Workwear. They make boots. They have great high quality stuff that are made by American hands. If you're in the chicken coop, if you're splitting firewood, if you are gardening and in the patch, you need stuff that is going to hold up. Go to the gift guide and use the code HOMESTEAD10 and it'll save you $10.
Different placements hit us hard in different placements or places. We had a toddler and we got along well, and then she went to live with a sister. And so it was hard to give up that child. We had her, I'm sorry, this is like over 20 years ago, so I don't remember all the details with so many children.
That's okay. I can't quite imagine.
But
yes, it's fine.
it was hard. And our second placement were twins. And they were with us for about 3 months. And that was really hard when they left.
Were they newborns or were they two?
They were, I believe, 3 months at the time. They were 3 months old. And the story was, all the stories are sad, and it's just how can we be there and help? And in the new days, you think you can work through all this and heal them. Mm-hmm. And everything's going to be okay. And that's what we hope and we pray for. And you always think about all the different ones that have been in your home and different circumstances. Due to the respect of the children, we can't say
Right.
what their stories are, but
Not
they're
easy.
sad. Yeah, there's been calls where I have cried on the phone as they're telling me what's happened to this child and can we take the child?
Yeah.
So, it's hard.
There are not many more direct and more beautiful ways in which I can imagine someone being the hands and feet. I don't want to sound overly churchy, and I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
But an infant or a newborn or a 6-month-old is just utterly innocent.
Yeah.
And they get into hard situations due to their no fault of their own
Yeah.
by the decisions that we as adults make. Oh, we're so sinful and so broken. My goodness. So you step into that.
We did.
How soon, how did your first son or daughter, 14 months and 4 months? Or
15 months and 4 months.
okay, I turned those around.
No, that's okay.
So they came together?
They did come together
Okay.
as a sibling group.
Okay.
So when the agency will call you, they will tell you, we have a boy and a girl She's 15 months, he is 4 months. And, they will tell you what they know, which is usually next to nothing. It can be, nowadays it depends because they go back and forth so much, which is a whole nother story. But they came together.
Oh boy, I've got a lot of thoughts on reunification.
I do too.
I figured, and it's
reunification can be very beautiful, but it's not always everybody's story.
Yeah,
and sometimes it isn't beautiful, and it's still reunified, and you do a lot of praying.
Yeah, I have heard some stories, firsthand, secondhand, and you hear them and you want to, I don't think I should say what I would want to do.
Crawl out of your skin.
Yeah.
You want to crawl out of your skin.
And go fix it. And at times you can't. Boy, that got deep really quick. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
So you have 5 kids. Can I ask one more hard question?
Yes.
About that? How did you and Kerby go about deciding to adopt those and sometimes not adopting other kids?
I think that's really, it's a prayerful thing. You really need to consider some of the hardest things is receiving a placement and knowing they're not going to stay, that they're just not a fit.
I can't imagine.
It is some of the hardest things to do. But I believe, God will tell you and you'll feel it in your heart. Some of the biggest things is when foster parents have their children and they know they're going to come up for adoption and they love them. But, they have to face it all the time. I have friends who, even a friend now has a little one and he's going to be coming up for adoption, and due to the circumstances, she's single and she doesn't believe she should maybe adopt, but she's not sure. And, that's a God thing. And, you have to really prayerfully consider. They just felt like they were our children. And so we said yes. And,
I feel like I should apologize to you because you probably didn't know that I was going to ask these kinds of questions.
No, you're not the first person to ask, so it's okay. Everybody asks these questions when they want to know about foster care.
Yeah.
If we're not truthful, I think you can blindly lead someone into foster care that maybe it was not, or adoption that, they're not meant, that wasn't their path.
I know that you've heard this a million times because we've heard this a million times, that when people talk about adopting, a lot of people are looking for, or they believe they are looking for, that perfect little baby with no strings attached and just the perfect little baby. I've heard those words 100 times. And the fact that that child is born, thankfully they're born.
Yes.
They're born, and then the lady who gave birth to them at some point disappears.
Yes.
That does not come without its own trauma. And I'd love to be able to encourage the people that are looking for that perfect little baby to be open to the understanding that it's not there.
No.
It's not there.
I think each child struggles individually. Every story for every child, and all of our 5 children have different stories. And it's their story. And we're just here to try to support them the best we know how.
Yeah. If I can go back a little bit to the surrogacy thing.
Yes.
Something that I have been really concerned about as I am reading about IVF and surrogacy and the myriads of ethical issues and the unintended consequences that are going to come out, that are coming out of those situations. I remember our oldest son asking me, Dad, why did God let these things happen? And I say, I don't know.
Yeah.
But let's talk about it. I'm here. Let's talk about it. And I can tell you that I didn't do that nearly often enough. But when I think about that child that's out of surrogacy or out of a different situation,
Yeah.
and they're not told that. They're told something to the effect of, you know what, you should just be glad you're here.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of the wave of mental illness, I'm not even sure if that's the right description.
It's a trauma.
The trauma and the struggles of who am I?
Yeah. And to know the history, our kiddos, just what they have to struggle with in their stories. And it's always a hard struggle to let them know exactly their full story. You're almost in a catch-22 as far as if you start explaining their story from the way you've been told.
Yeah.
They can be very angry with you because you're not talking positively about their birth parents. But then, you can't, it's tricky.
You don't want to sugarcoat it.
You don't want to sugarcoat it, but their stories aren't glamorous.
Yeah.
You don't want to make them feel bad. And it's not like you're trying to make that birth parent feel bad.
Yeah.
Because they may not have had that chance either.
Wonderful couple sat here just a couple days ago and told me a story about one of the kids that they adopted. And later, Mom came to me and she said, Marlon, can you cut all that out? Because that's not our story to tell.
Yes.
And obviously we're going to cut it out. But when you're talking to the child about his or her own life story, how they got here, how do you guys determine that? How do you think through that Julia, it feels like an impossible task.
I believe it kind of is, because you can't really explain all of the bad without the parents looking bad. And that's not your goal, but that's not what they want to hear. It's very touchy.
Because they really want to know
right.
what happened to them to try to make
right.
sense of life, right?
Right. Right.
Boy, that's incredible.
It is. And maybe a little public service announcement as far as when you're talking to foster parents, please don't ask them what happened to the child, because we can't tell you that, and it's not our story to tell.
Yeah, thank you for saying that.
And it's harder because as an adoptive parent to an adoptive parent, we can swap stories and we know we don't tell really anything else. So if you overhear adoptive or foster parents talking, it's not meant for your ears. Not to sound rude, but we know that HIPAA between foster parents, I mean, my first and foremost is if you're becoming a foster parent, you need to connect with other or previous foster parents because there's a lot of things that go on and a lot of talk that can't happen in public.
You said you had more than 100 foster kids in your home.
Yes, that's emergency placement, respite care, and then placements. So respite care is when another foster parent is going on vacation or they just need a break for a little bit. They'll call another foster home and see if you'll take those kids for X amount of time. Emergency placement obviously is holidays, weekends, anything after, I think 4:30. It's supposed to be 5, but I think by 4:30 everybody's kind of shutting their phones down and trying to finish out their day so they can leave by 5. So it's getting calls in the middle of the night. It's getting calls on Easter Sunday morning at 6 a.m. or Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve.
In those situations, usually something overly traumatic has happened.
Yes.
JFS gets involved.
Yes.
Job and Family Services gets involved. I go back and forth, if I can be really honest, I go back and forth between loving and admiring social workers to getting rather frustrated with social workers.
I think that's anybody, even foster parents.
Okay, so I'm not nuts.
Yeah. I mean, I have a high respect. They put their lives in danger all the time.
All the time. They never know what they're walking into.
No, they don't.
It's like being a cop.
Right. And then sometimes wanting to pull my hair out because I'm frustrated because I feel they just don't hear what's going on with this child.
Wow. Okay. I think I have a bit of an idea on where you and Kerby's heart has come from.
Yes.
For fostering and for the kids. How did Hope's House come into your world?
We had a good support group. There were 4 of us foster moms that we still get together sometimes when we can. We would have up to 20 little toddlers and babies between the 4 of us running around, and we would get together for sanity reasons.
Yeah, right.
And that's where it's very important that you have a support group of foster parents built around you, because once they're in your home, they're your children, and I did not want them going into respite care with someone I did not know. So having that bond of those 4 of us, we would swap our kids and just tell, hey, they're going to be here while we go. And it was okay because we were all foster parents.
You were all licensed and background checked and everything.
And it was almost like, for some of the kids, it was almost like cousins, because we would get together once a month and they would all play. Sometimes we would be together more. We went to each other's adoptions. We went, we had cookouts and stuff when the husbands, and if there was husbands, one of our crew was a single lady, but we would do things as a family then too sometimes.
So I just wrote three sets of numbers down.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, Hope Bridge put on an event in Hartville,
which I missed, and I so wanted to go. Nicole Bowman and I chat together.
Lisa and I were there.
Okay.
And Hope Bridge is wonderful.
It is amazing.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait to have somebody from them, from their team sit here.
Yes. We all work together.
So the numbers that they said, and I'm probably wrong and they might have changed, okay?
My guess is they've changed.
But Stark County, as of a couple weeks ago, if I remember right, had 487 kids in the foster care system.
Okay.
There are around 180 or so foster families, I believe.
Okay.
The last number that I wrote down is the number of churches in Stark County.
Yes.
It's a little under 400, about 380 or something. And they had the exact number. I don't remember the exact number.
Yes.
That's fine. One of the things that drives me up a wall and then back down the other side is the seeming ignorance or lack of, I don't want to put any motives there that are not there. Why do our churches not seem to engage this need?
I think foster care is very messy.
Are they scared of the mess?
Yes, I think so. You know, there are so many there's so many stories and as foster parents and it's very hurtful when your heart is in it. And you know, like we could show up to church and we're all a hot mess, but we're there. And we can't punish our kids for acting out at a certain time, maybe. You know, just we're there.
Yep.
You know, where like don't judge a foster parent if the kid's having a meltdown because you don't know what they've come from.
They don't know anything.
And to sit, our normal life is not their normal life. Their normal life is the that dysfunction that they've come from, that we see as dysfunction. But their normal is what they were living, and we're putting them in homes where that's not normal living for them. But we're all expecting them to live normally, air quotes, like we do.
Yeah. The fear that has to come out of those situations. And I'm not saying in their birth home or in the the last placement or anything, but just simply the fear of, I just got moved again. Who are these people? Am I safe here?
Yes.
They're living in fight or flight mode most of the time until they get to know, okay, they get to trust you.
Well, they don't want to trust because then they're going to go back home and then they'll be pulled again. I don't want to say they will be pulled again. A lot of them, though, are, sadly.
Right. I was talking to a friend of mine, and Julie, forgive me here. I don't even know exactly how much I should say and how much I shouldn't, but there were two little siblings, and they're little. And he told me that they just got moved again into their 11th home. And I'm talking like a few years old and a few more years old. They're little.
Yeah.
And I just know what it did to our son with this many.
Yeah. It's really hard because each move can be traumatizing to these children. And there's so few foster parents that, just recently a foster family, and it's not just this foster family, it's so many foster homes. The children are moved back home or moved with kinship, a relative, a friend, someone, and the home fills up right away again. And then these kids come back into care. And they really would like these foster parents to take them back so it's not another move, but their home may be full. Or those foster parents take on the additional children.
Right.
So Hope's House is really meant to wrap around our foster parents. We are here to supply whatever they need. And by God's grace, we can supply 90 to 100% of their needs. We have beds. We have the mattresses, the bedding, the school supplies, the shoes, the coats, the outerwear, the underwear, the bottles, the binkies, the lotions, the hair care kits, you name it. We have 90 to 100% of needs for a child.
we learned about you when our Amish neighbors got their first or their second placement. They're a wonderful, family that are fostering. And my wife gets a call from, the neighbor. And she said, hey, we just have these kids. Will you take me to Kidron? And Lisa said, done, let's go. And they drive up there. I think it was at 11 or 12 o'clock at night.
Yes.
You met him there.
I did.
And Lisa looks around and she told me, she said, totally amazing.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It was, Hope's House was born, like, we kind of got off subject of when the four of us, the foster moms, would always get together. When we would have extra placements, when we would get placements, we would ask each other, like, does anybody have, if we had twins and somebody didn't have twins, hey, does anybody have an extra high chair? Do you have an extra walker? Do you have an extra car seat? Do you have clothes? I thought I had 6-month baby boy clothes, but I do. They're only summer. I don't have winter, or...
There's a million things that you need at the drop of a hat, and
right.
Boom, the baby shows up, and now you realize that you don't have what you thought you did, and so it's a scramble.
Right. So once Kerby and I were done fostering, I wasn't done being involved with foster care, and so I went over to the village, which I helped take care of when the caretakers were gone, and I asked Ray Lizzie is the manager of the village, and I asked him if I could use this house. It was sitting empty for a few years, finished, and he said, yes, I could. And he gave me little areas and told me not to ask for any more, but they kept giving me more and more to where I have all 3 floors and part of the Welcome Center as well.
Wow.
So it has just exploded.
So
God runs it. I try to keep it organized.
I learned something just the other night. We were talking to the same neighbors, okay? They're wonderful, by the way. They're just the best neighbors ever. They said that you have food.
I do.
And that you give meals.
Freezer meals.
For a week.
Yes.
Whatever you need, here, take it.
So that first week, when you get a placement, when you're called by Children's Services, you think you're living your daily life with your children, whether they're bio, adopted, foster. You get a call, and you're to take a lot of times more than one child. You're asked to take a sibling group. That first week, whether it's 1 child or 3 children, you have to drop, you can't drop your normal living. So you're called and you're asked to take these kids at whatever time of day. And when you take those kids, our kids usually come with the clothes on their back. And so you have to go out and you have to buy them a wardrobe. And oftentimes there's an official or unofficial checklist of how many items of each. You need X amount of socks, X amount of sleepers, X amount of pajamas.
Really?
A winter coat. Even if the winter coats are, all spring coats are out now, you have to have a winter coat. So when these kiddos come in, first of all, you're dealing with the agency, and there's usually anywhere from 3 or 4 people calling you nonstop with, okay, you're taking this. Oh, here, we found this. We got this. One of our first placements, the twins, one came from the hospital. So I didn't have the offices call me. I had 3 surgeons call me. And I had the twin at home, and you get thrown in quickly because I thought, what did I do? What did I say I would do? Am I really equipped to do this?
Wow.
And so you're dealing with your regular life. Now you're dealing with the agency calls. You could be dealing with calls from the doctor's offices. It could be from police, could be from attorneys. wanting to know items, then you get a guardian ad litem, but you also have to have these children seen within 24 to 48 hours by a doctor. And then trying, if you have to go to the ER to do it, to explain to a doctor why you're there. They're like, well, what do you want from us? And I'm like, well, you need to check these children out, and we need they have to examine them, for potential abuse. Then you're also, if they're school age, you're unenrolling and re-enrolling them in school. So not only do you have to get them the whole school wardrobe, or their whole wardrobe, not just a school wardrobe, you have to get them school supplies in a backpack.
Okay, pause there. So I don't think I ever really stopped to think about the fact that so traumatic event happens.
Yes.
Let's say it's in the middle of the school year, which
Yes.
it is.
Yes.
Most of the time, right?
Yes.
They get pulled out of, let's say, Stark County, and they come down to Kidron, or in
Yes.
this situation, they come down to Tuscarawas County.
Yes.
I never saw that they are by default changing school. That
Not only are they changing homes, they're changing schools.
their friends, the people that they knew, even if they didn't have a deep relationship, a deep
Teacher
friendship,
they trusted.
right? They're all gone.
They're all gone.
They're all gone. The whole life is just dumped out in a shaker upside down.
So at Hope's house, we do try, we give all our children, we don't try, we do give all our children a new blanket, a stuffed animal, some books, and some toys. So if they're going into a home, especially with other children, they have something that's theirs right off the bat, that they don't have to share with anyone else. The freezer meals come in because that first week, the last thing you really want to do is cook or do laundry. So we launder all the clothes so when they take them home, they're clean and they can just put them away. That's why we need our volunteers. We need people that are willing to continually make us freezer meals so that we can keep our freezers stocked, because the freezer meals are not only just going for when that first week to relieve that, it's for if they're struggling with a child or there's surgeries. We had one foster mom break her wrist, and she had a baby going through withdrawals, and she had her own children on top of that too.
Oh, man.
And she just called me and said, I'm waving the white flag. I need some food. And I'm like, you got it. And we'll gather a week's worth of food and take it down, and you call me if you need anything else. Hope's House is here to make sure that we're supporting our foster families through everything. And if everybody could see the way our foster parents feel loved when they get all their items, because we have set up people from beds down to the smallest thing is a binky or a teether, something fun that kids enjoy. The kids coming in there and seeing these clothes. We take gently used to new items because I don't want to hand anything out that has any sort of wear if I have to.
Yep.
We have grown so big in 3 years that, we are able to give a lot of just new socks and underwear out.
You've only been doing this for 3 years?
This month.
Are you serious?
I am serious.
I thought this was going on for 10.
No.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that.
Yes.
So you and Kerby just stopped fostering a couple of years ago.
4 years ago.
Wow. How can people find Hope's House?
Well, I am not a very techie person, so I do not have a website at this point. But I do have a Facebook page. It's Hope's House Foster Closet. If you Google, I guess, Hope's House Foster Closet, like Kidron, Ohio, it should come up. We also, my friend has started an Instagram too. I, again, am not techie, so Hope's House Foster Closet, I guess Kidron, Ohio would be how you find it. I haven't spoken to her since it's been up and running. So it is on there.
Okay.
We have, you can come visit us at the village. We do not have set hours, although we're usually there every Tuesday and Thursday from 10 to 2.
Okay. Right now, what do you guys need the most?
Freezer meals and financial support. And that financial support, 100% of that goes back into working in Hope's House as far as buying supplies. I just ordered a special needs car seat and a mattress this morning. So the funds, it goes for, someone donated us a twin bed or a bunk bed with a double on a twin, but we didn't have a double mattress. So I ordered the double mattress because I don't want to hand it out without it being fully functional for our foster parents.
So you're not taking a salary on any of this?
No.
My goodness.
And we can go salary-wise. One thing I would kind of like people to know, yes, foster parents get paid. It's usually under $1 an hour.
That's good.
Yeah. And if they do get a clothing stipend, it may be $150 per quarter.
Per quarter?
Yeah, is what they like to try. Sometimes you can get more, like infants may need more, but sometimes you can't. So most of this, and that only covers clothing and shoes. It does not cover diapers, cribs, strollers, car seats, bedding. It doesn't include a pacifier. It is clothing. It doesn't include blankets. It's clothing. What we can put on that baby. So then that under $1 an hour pays for the rest of it, which we all know doesn't cover nearly what a foster parent needs. So this is why Hope's House is, I believe, so important.
So when I look at what a foster parent, a foster family takes on, $100 an hour wouldn't be worth it, because and I don't. That's not the right way to say that. I'm sorry, but
what amount would you do this for?
Exactly.
Because I bet you a lot of people don't want to do it for under $1 an hour.
Exactly.
So it's hard for foster parents to be out and to be told that, well, we don't need to babysit for your kids because you get paid.
They have no. I'm sorry. I get.
It's hard. It's disheartening, but I guess, just talking about it is raising awareness of maybe some do's and don'ts for foster parents.
You are far too kind and far too gracious, far more than I can be at this point, and I gotta shape up a little bit. I'm sorry. Can we go back to the churches for a second?
Yes.
I don't understand how someone who says they believe in the Lord and follow the Lord can hear that there are kids that are sleeping in government building, benches.
Yes.
And on the floor. And just go back to
normal living.
Yeah, well, that's
Somebody
rough.
else will do it.
Somebody else will do it. And when I look at this, you have one or two families in the churches, and they would effectively eradicate the problem.
Yes.
And it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it.
There's a lot of talk, which we talk with Hope's Bridge, and another foster mom is starting, I hope I say this right, it's Promise 1018, and she's partnering with Hope's House. And we're here just to really wrap around and build our support for foster parents with monthly diaper drives and wipes.
Yeah.
Because along with the diapers, we want to do wipes.
One is good. Having the other side
It's
of that
really
is
nice.
much better.
Yeah. So we,
Wow.
just supporting monthly, weekly freezer meals, is a goal to get churches to wrap around foster parents for families, get involved with that foster family, provide a meal once a week, see what other needs are there, build that relation. Not only are we building that relation, we're teaching our children how to care for the next generation.
Yeah. And actually
Care.
showing.
There's a lot of ideas, a lot of things that we're all coming up with. And what's beautiful is how we all work together. We're all doing similar but different things. But it all comes down to getting churches involved with helping. I have a local church that just recently started getting involved too. And they donated a truckload off my Amazon wish list, which is amazing.
Literally a truckload.
Literally from wagons and strollers down to our African-American kiddos need some different lotion than what, we all use, and to sensory items, because we have a sensory department, sensory chairs, sensory toys, sensory gadgets, because what's beautiful about it is our kiddos can come in and try it out, because otherwise it's a hit or miss off Amazon. We think we might like this, and it doesn't work, but there went $40.
Yep. This way, Yeah.
Wow. And if it doesn't work, they try it out before, they take it home. If it doesn't work, they bring it back and they get something else.
How can we pray for you and Kerby and Hope's House? Just overall.
I think the biggest prayer for Hope's House is just that we continue to get support, whether it be financial or whether it be just donating used items, that are gently used to new items. And that financial support is a huge thing for us, because there's so many needs our foster parents. We could supply so much more.
And it's never ending.
It's never ending, but we have so much. We've been blessed. I'm very thankful for everybody who's ever donated, from the smallest item up to the largest item, to anything and everything helps. And it does not go unnoticed. Our parents are very grateful, and they're very blessed by what we're able to provide them.
How about you and Kerby?
Just that we can keep going, keep doing this. It would be big. It's just, I never thought it would be this big, this quick. Mm-hmm. And it is. And it's a blessing.
Yeah.
But there's always, help needed in all areas.
Yeah.
Everything from your wife driving your neighbor to get things, to people delivering items, people making freezer meals, people donating stuff their children don't use anymore.
I want to meet your husband sometime and give him a huge hug. Yeah, I love what you guys are doing in every way.
Thank you.
It's ridiculous. Thank you for doing it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're going to do this again.
I may sound a little different next time.
The allergies will hopefully
have subsided, and my voice will be back.
have fixed themselves.
Yes.
Julie, thank you so very much. This is great.
Thank you.
From now until Christmas, Homestead Living has a wonderful gift guide online. You can find it at homesteadliving.com. You'll find the link in the notes below. We have a handful of great companies, great products. Another partner is Irish Eyes. They are a family-owned organic seed farm with a focus on high-quality, non-GMO seeds. They're especially strong in garlic and potatoes. They have a wide selection of veggies and flowers and herbs as well. And right now, if you go to irisheyesgardenseeds.com and join their newsletter, they will knock off 15%.
So hold my hand.
In his book, Rembrandt is in the Wind, Russ Ramsey says that the Bible is the story of the God of the universe telling his people to care for the sojourner, the poor, the orphan, and the widow. And it's the story of his people struggling to find the humility to carry out that holy calling. Guys, that is what Plain Values is all about. If you got anything out of this podcast, you will probably love Plain Values in print. You can go to plainvalues.com to learn more and check it out. Please like, subscribe, and leave us a review. Guys, love you all. Thanks so much.